another Kray video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss any videos. And for people really interested in the Krays, check out our private Facebook group, Krays Crime Lords of London. A direct link for the group is in the YouTube description section. We're a friendly and moderated group which has been running since January 2018. Come and give us a try sometime.
Welcome back. We continue my story of my time with the Krays. They were crazy days. My name is Albert Donoghue. I was chief growler and rent collector for Ronnie and Reggie right up to 1968, when we were all arrested by Nipper Reid and his Scotland Yard team. Reggie's marriage tottered on for a couple of years, but on paper only. Ever since she'd left him, Frances had been living with her parents. They'd been against him right from the start. And can you blame them? Reggie was reduced to visiting the house once a week to take her some money. It was really bad at that stage. She wasn't mixing with him. She would look out of the bedroom window, and he would poke money through the letterbox and just say, "How are you? Come down and talk." "No," she would shout. I suspect it was a weird marriage in the first place, because in the early days, Reggie wasn't very interested in girls, although he and Frances had been kind of childhood sweethearts until he developed into your typical East End tearaway, and soon into a gangland boss. Then there was the wedding, and all of a sudden, she was whisked off on all those trips to Greece and other lands that normal East Enders never dreamed of visiting in those days. There was a lot of glamour attached to life with Reggie, and it must have looked nice at first. But when she got the whole drift, with Ronnie screaming in the background and going into his troughs, she must have got sick and frightened too. I don't think the marriage ever was consummated. There were conversations I had with Reggie. He would talk to me where he wouldn't to other people. And several times he'd asked, "How do you actually touch a woman to make her excited? Liven her up." He didn't know where you touched her or how you touched her. I don't think he knew where to put it, even while he was married. One day, I spoke to the girl by herself. The three of us went out for a stroll in Victoria Park. Reggie and Frances walked ahead, and I was 10 yards behind. Then they decided to sit down, and I sat down at another bench until I was called over to join in. I still didn't speak, because it wasn't my conversation. But she was talking to me about their visit to Spain. Then when Reggie left us, only for a couple of minutes, she suddenly started pouring it all out. I didn't like Spain, she told me. I didn't like all that traveling around. Whereas just a few seconds before, in front of Reggie, she was saying what a wonderful holiday it had been. She was putting on a front for him. So I suppose it was some relief to her to have a couple of minutes chat with me. But I could see the girl wasn't happy in herself. In October 1966, she tried to gas herself to death at her parents' home. When she came out of hospital, she moved in with her brother and sister-in-law, and it was at their flat that in June 1967, she took her own life. We had all seen it coming because she was never a very strong person. Then came the shambles of the funeral, when my job was to check all the wreaths and bouquets to find out who hadn't sent flowers and make a list of those who hadn't expressed their respects. That was a bit sick. You would have thought that, if only on this occasion, Reggie could have forgotten about gangland reckonings and concentrated on asking himself why she'd done away with herself. The fact is, she did away with herself because of the same hole in his head that made him ask me to check who hadn't sent any flowers. I'm sure he was genuinely grieving. I'm sure that, in his own destructive way, he loved her. But he converted this into hating her family. He blamed her parents for everything that went wrong between him and Francis. Once she was gone, he drank even more. He fell back on Ronnie for moral support, which was a bit like leaning on an umbrella in a force 10 gale. And all the time, Ronnie kept goading him about doing yours. Who that would be is anyone's guess. It was a bit like playing eeny, meeny, miny, mo. It could have been almost anyone, but for sure, sooner or later, unless Reggie snapped and shot Ronnie, some other poor bastard was bound to become Reggie's one. The prime candidate was not one of the enemy, but one of us, and the issue had nothing to do with gangland. Nobby Clark was the fellow who had promised us his father's home to house Frank Mitchell, but backed out when we showed up with the mad axeman. He'd made the offer to suck up to Ronnie, and it was another act of sucking up to Ronnie that made the other one homicidally mad. I heard the whole story from Reggie himself. It had all started back in 1965, after the marriage had first run into trouble. One day, Nobby was with both the twins when Ronnie started slagging off Francis. Now, while it was okay for the twins to say anything they liked to each other, it was nobody else's ground. Nobody else interfered. But instead of just shutting up like the rest of us would, Nobby chipped in and sided with Ronnie, saying, "Yeah, Ron, that's right, Reg, he's right." Nothing was said or done to Nobby immediately, because at that time he was still in favour, but his comments had registered with Reggie and were stored away. 2 years on, things had changed. Nobby had been more or less blown off the firm. They'd finished using him, while poor Francis was dead, and Reggie was in the blackest mood, grief-stricken, remorseful, angry, and vindictive. In short, he was looking for someone to take it out on. So one night, when he was with Ronnie Hart, Reggie stoked up on the gin and got totally drunk. His mind went back to what Nobby had said all that time ago, and he brooded on it. Then in the early hours, he went round to Nobby's flat in Newington Green with Ronnie Hart and another guy, and they sat in a van for the best part of the night with a revolver on board. It was crazy. The police could have pulled them any time. Then about 7 in the morning, they knocked at Nobby's door. His wife opened, so Reggie called him out. So far, so good. It's normal, when you have a dispute with a man, to call him out of the home because you don't want to hurt his family. And it was just as understandable that Nobby was refusing to come out. So Reggie just stood in the open doorway, shouting, until Nobby stepped out of the bathroom and emerged at the top of the stairs. Then Reggie fired up the stairs and hit him in the leg. Nobby was screaming all over the place. I don't know why, because it was only a .22, and that doesn't hurt much to start with. It must have been fear. Death was staring him in the face, and his wife and kids might be going with him. He survived, but even so, the punishment hardly matched the crime. After all, it was Ronnie who'd made the original remarks. And it was only because Reggie couldn't shoot him that he shot poor Nobby instead. The weirdest thing was how Reggie had controlled his outrage for 2 years before punishing Nobby for his so-called crime. But again, that was typical of the pair. They saved up grievances for a rainy day. That was personal. Back to business. Top of the Ronnie's list now, and therefore a possible body for Reggie to do his, was Leslie Payne, their former financial advisor. He had engineered their takeover of Esmeralda's barn, and he had masterminded their long-firm frauds and stolen bond rackets. These had brought them a lot of money, but he also dreamed up a Nigerian development scam that collapsed after he upset a local contractor who got him locked up for a while in Donoghue jail. During 1966, he steadily drifted off the firm. He wasn't coming in with any more grand scams matching his connections with their clout. By autumn 1967, Ronnie was telling us the man with the briefcase might be squealing to Scotland Yard, so he had to go. But who should send him on his way? One evening in September, we had a meet in the Grave Maurice. Ronnie, Reggie, me, Jack the Hat McVitie, and Billy Exley. Now Jack was on the fringes of the firm, but he was mainly a freelance, a gun-for-hire man, though he hadn't ever killed anybody. He was electric, like a puppet on a string, because he was always taking pills. He never stopped talking, and he couldn't keep still for 2 minutes. The twins were saying they wanted Payne done that very night, because they'd found out he was due to show up on a meet. They gave Jack the address and told him to be there and finish him. According to Jack, Payne never showed, so he came back to the Grave Maurice. Then at around 11:30, Jack and Billy went off again, this time to Payne's house on a private estate in Dulwich, South London, where they were going to cop for him. Their job was definitely murder. They were going to knock on the door and get straight back in the car before he answered. This caution was because Payne had a big dog, so they were going to shoot him from the car as soon as he opened up. I saw them when they came back. Me, the twins, and a few more were still waiting in the Grave Maurice. We did this by way of an alibi, in case Payne did get killed. But Jack said that when he knocked on the door, it was the wife who answered. She seemed a bit worried and suspicious, and she said, "He's not here, and he won't be back all night. Otherwise they would have waited for him." Later, I was given another version, which was at least as believable. Payne lived on a private estate, and these bumbling so-called hitmen never got further than the guardhouse with the security pole. Jack was supposed to get £250 for killing Payne. He never tried again, but early in October, he was on another of the twins' murder assignments, this time with me, Ronnie Hart, and Reggie Kray, who had screwed himself up again to do his and level the score with Ronnie. The target this day was a little guy out at Poplar called Bobby Cannon. While the four of us were sat in a flat in Hackney, somebody who was welcome where Cannon drank was sent to get him. He gave him a message to come to where we were, but, of course, he wasn't told that we'd be ready for him at this end, with a reception committee. So while we're waiting in the lounge, Reggie and Ronnie Hart are in the kitchen, trying to wrap a towel around this gun to silence it. Reggie wants us to entertain Cannon till he's ready. We are to calm Cannon and put him at his ease, saying, "Reggie will be here in a minute. Then the great gunman will burst in the room, do the business, and we'll be left to clear it up." So, me and Jack the Hat, we look at each other and we can see neither of us wants to do this. So when we hear Cannon's footsteps, we don't speak in case we're heard. We just whisper, "Go!" and wave him to away, and he's gone. He doesn't need telling, but as we're doing that, we're also knocking furniture about as though there's a scuffle. Then when Reggie sticks his head out, along with this big towel wrapped around his hand, we say, "He's bolted, he's sussed it and got away." And we can still hear Bobby Cannon's footsteps on the stairs, and he shouts up, "You bunch of bastards!" Whether that's to help us carry off the pretense or what, it certainly sounds good as far as Reggie's concerned. And he believes we've really had a fight. What a relief. The twins stood for that. But if we had sat Bobby Cannon down and given him some talking to, Reggie would have walked out of that back room and shot him stone dead. I haven't got a clue what Cannon had done to upset him. If he'd done anything bad, we'd have known. We'd have been told that bastard's done this or that. But he hadn't done anything much. It was just that somebody had probably heard him mouthing off against the terrible twins. So now Jack had been on 2 recent murder jobs. Neither had come off, but the twins couldn't have held him singly to blame on either assignment. They certainly hadn't twigged that we'd screwed up the cannon job deliberately. Now the very fact that they had trusted him with both these jobs shows that there could not have been any long spell of bad feeling between him and Reggie. Throughout this time, he was actually working with us. He was one of us. But in the next 3 weeks, Ronnie turned up the emotional squeeze on Reggie even more, to the point where he had to kill somebody. Anybody. It was just a case of which Duck happened to be sitting in the middle of the shooting range when he finally raised his gun. As October went on, the man most out of favor happened to be Jack the Hat. Perhaps it was what happened at the Regency just then that condemned him to be that duck. The Regency, which was still owned by the Barrys, was a big building with a gymnasium and 2 bars on the upper floors and a soundproof bar in the basement, where we used to drink all our afters. We were down there one night when Johnny Barry came down and said, "Jack's upstairs, out of his skull on pills and booze. He's carrying a shotgun, and he's asking if any of the firm's here." From what Johnny said, it wasn't definite that Jack was going to try to kill or harm any of the firm. He had simply said, "Are any of the firm here?" Which made me think he might just want a bit of backup on something. So I said, "I'll go and sort him out." Johnny said, "No, we've calmed him down. We're going to get rid of him. We told him there's no one here." And that was the end of that. Some people have said he came in threatening the firm, but that wasn't clear. It might have been a threat. If one of us had gone up, he might have shot us. We don't know. But I knew for sure that guy wouldn't shoot me. I knew Jack the Hat as a buddy. We'd go and drink together. He'd come in my club, and I'd turn my back on him with no fear of him shooting me. And I was thinking like a fox in those days. I had to smell trouble to survive, and there was no way I'd turn my back on someone I felt even half shifty about. I picked up vibes pretty quickly, but I never got any bad feedback from Jack the Hat. And I don't seriously believe Reggie Kray did either. A couple of nights before Jack went, we sat together on the Regency's middle floor, where there was a Chinese restaurant. Myself, Reggie, Jack, and a 4th person I forget, sat down and had supper together. There was no personal animosity either way that I could detect, and we would have picked it up. I'd certainly have picked it up from Reggie, but there was none. And this was after the shotgun incident. I know Jack often said things which were anti the twins, but I pretended I didn't hear it. Whenever Jack slagged them off, he was just being Jack. I would never report that stuff back to the other two, because I might have been signing his death warrant. I didn't wish the twins vengeance on anybody, because I'd been on the receiving end of Reggie's gun myself. Maybe other people weren't so careful, or they might have informed on him deliberately to get him into trouble. Sure, he did have a loose tongue, and maybe he deserved a slap, but nothing more. There were, as they say in court, mitigating circumstances. Jack was a pill popper. He was always downing Purple Hearts. He'd scream and rant, "I ain't frightened of the firm," but only when he was full of booze and Smarties. The twins knew that. Ronnie was the same himself, so if Jack had got a talking to, that would have been enough. The first I knew about the Hat was one Sunday morning, 29th October, when I was due to meet Ronnie at the Blind Beggar. But instead, Connie Whitehead came around to my flat in Devons Road. He said, "They want to see you." I asked, "What's the matter?" He replied, "Don't you know what happened last night?" I told him, "No, I had a night in." He said, "They copped for McVitie." I didn't quite get his drift. Maybe I didn't want to. So I asked, "How was he when he left? All right? Was he sweet with them? Did he walk away?" Whitehead said, "He left feet first. Connie drove me to the Beggars and I met Tommy Cowley. He told me the twins are off. I pretended to know nothing and asked why. He said, 'Well, bad news.' He took me outside and we talked on the pavement. 'Jack the Hat's gone. What's happening now?' So Cowley replied, 'They want you to go round and organise the clean-up and redecorate the place. They've got Tommy Brown's brother, he was a totter, a second-hand dealer, coming over from Walthamstow with furniture, carpets and curtains. They want to make sure the place is totally redecorated and it's got to be finished by the morning. But you need to go and look at the place first. So I go in there. It's blonde Carol Skinner's place over at 71 Evering Road, right opposite where I spent the night with Lisa. And there are these two women, Ronnie Hart's wife, Vicky, and blonde Carol, who lives there, on their hands and knees. Get this straight. It's no good saying there are just a few blood splashes. There's a pool of blood on the floor. They're swabbing it into buckets, tipping it into the sink and the toilet. Then they're going over the whole floor with bleach and Ajax. I can't do anything till they finish. Christ, it's like one of those places where they do cattle. An abattoir. It looks as though they've done an animal and let the blood drain out. For once, I was able to put my education with the De La Salle brothers to practical use. I washed and scrubbed down the plaster, and where it crumbled, I had to rip bits off and replaster. I did the tiles and the wallpaper, which I'd picked up from the Stowe Club. But in the corner, where the killing had been done, I had to stick tar paper underneath as a damp course, because this was a basement. Then I had to paint some other walls. The biggest problem was all the blood under the lino. I had to take out all the lino, then lay new felt and a new carpet. As arranged, Tommy Brown's brother turned up with new furniture. He didn't know what it was about. He just thought there'd been a fight. So now we put everything in. I had started the job at 6 that night, and it took me till almost dawn the next day. Meantime, this poor blonde Carol had to stay there with her kids. She'd got nowhere else to go. Anyway, that's my job finished. I come away. So now I get back among the boys, and I say to my partner, Ronnie Hart, what happened? Because he was there. As he explained, it started as the normal thing. The twins have a party somewhere. Then they send some people on the outer edge of the firm off to pick up other people. That night, Chris and Tony Lambrianou happened to be around. So the twins send them off to the Regency to tell Jack the Hat there's a party. And would he come back? They send the Lambrianus blind. They have no idea what's going to happen. Ronnie Hart tells me that when Jack comes in the flat, Reggie tries to shoot him, but the gun is duff. Jack grabs Reggie, and he's got the gun under his arm. He's holding on to it, and he's struggling with Reggie. Then Ronnie jumps on him, and he's trying to screw an ordinary dinner knife into his back. Jack breaks away. He's in a basement, and there's a window with a grill, so he tries to smash his way through to get up and out, but they drag him back, and maybe he cuts himself in the struggle. Then Reggie gets away. Somebody comes in from the kitchen and gives him a carving knife. Ronnie's still holding him, saying, "Go on, do him." Reggie does him round the body, then stabs him in the face. Then the last one goes in the neck, and he twists it round and round, and that's where all the gravy comes from. Now, they've got to wrap Jack up, get him out of the house, and get him off the manor. So, like with Mitchell, they run him over the water, south of the river, through the Blackwall Tunnel, and park him up. That's the end of him, as far as the firm is concerned. As I found out more, I was astonished how public this killing had been. Lots of people were in the place at the time. Ronnie Bender was there, so was Connie Whitehead, and so were two kids. One was called Terry, a trainee croupier at the colony, who was only 18, and the other was called Trevor. This pair ran out when they saw Jack getting it, but to show them he wasn't dead, they were told afterwards that all he needed was plenty of stitches to fix him up. Then I went to Tommy Brown's flat at Tottenham, where the twins were tucked away. Tommy's wife was there, but she didn't hear what the twins were saying. Reggie was bursting to tell me how it happened, but they were both so excited that they kept interrupting themselves, each trying to explain it in his own way. They were triumphant, gleeful, and there was no remorse. In one way, I was relieved to find them so cheery, because I was worried they might have sussed we'd tipped off Bobby Cannon. I was thinking, have I told anyone? Is that why Jack's gone? If so, I'm next in line. But no, not a whiff of animosity, so I settled down and listened to their version of events, trying to pick up any differences from what I'd already heard from Ronnie Hart. Soon after, the twins gave me their gleeful accounts, which largely tied in with Ronnie Hart's version. They fled the East End. One-armed Lou took them off to Suffolk to stay in Lavenham, close to their friend Jeff Allen. All their clothes were burnt on a small holding. Ronnie also had to chuck some jewelry away. Well, that's all for this time, guys. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please join our Facebook group. It's called Krays Crime Lords of London. We're a friendly moderated group with over 1,000 Kray and other celebrated gangster videos available for view. There's also thousands of images in the photos sections. The link for the group is in the YouTube description section. I hope we see you there soon.
Leave a like and subscribe.